Good Karma Brands radio station.
For the first time ever, I am more interested in the Stanley Cup final than the NBA finals heading into a weekend.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell it.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Streaming live on YouTube.
You're gonna break up with me because of what I do on the radio?
Here's Theo Dorsey.
Mike Rizzo filling on in for Theo Dorsey. This is Theoretically Speaking. Christian Cat behind the glass. We are live in the City Place studios on ESPN 106. We're streaming live on YouTube, Twitter/X, Facebook, all that good stuff. So hang on, let's get something straight. Theo Dorsey, not here. Colin Russo, not here. Christina Costanza, happy hour, 3 to 4, not here. Christian, what's going on, my man?
Just you and I.
Love it.
That's it.
Honestly, wouldn't want it any other way on a Friday. Wouldn't want it any other way, brother.
A little ridiculous, no?
A little bit. A little bit.
No, I just thought.
A little bit.
We got the finals going on in hockey and in basketball. I think that anyone would cancel plans in order to be able to talk about it on the prestigious airwaves of ESPN West Palm.
Right. But honest to God, we're going to do a great 4 hours together. I cannot wait. And I missed you last night. At the hockey game. Obviously, you had to hold things down at the fort while we were all having fun at Duffy's and Plantation yesterday, doing a little Panther pregame, the final hunt. We had Jonathan Zaslow on, so it was a great time. I got to go to my first Stanley Cup final ever. I joined teammates Brian Rowitz, our content director and boss, and Christina Costanza, who you could hear on the happy hour with Theo Dorsey, usually on these airwaves from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. First off, Tina had to come get me because I got lost. I got lost in the parking lot trying to find parking, but the parking attendants were very nice about it. This isn't me complaining. This is me being a complete idiot. This has nothing to do with the people working in Amherst Bank Arena. It's just me being an idiot. But once I finally found where to park, got my credential, everything was great. And then I went up to the press box and realized that we were on the UL level. And that's when the great Christina Costanza had to come and find me. But once we got to the seats, Christian, what a start. 3-0. I looked at Brian Rowitz. I said, this series is over. I did the ultimate no-no I found out in hockey. I said, this series is over. Season's over. Panthers are going to go up 3-1, and they're going to have to win one game out of the last 3. Well, turns out that Edmonton did what the Panthers did in game 2. Now, the Panthers didn't come back from 3 goals down. Let's give credit where it's due. Edmonton had a fantastic game in that comeback. They had all the momentum in that second period, and then the third period was just an absolute free-for-all. It was great hockey, and it was awesome. And Edmonton scores late, sends it to overtime, as I said, just like the Panthers did in that game too. The Panthers sent it to overtime late in Edmonton with about 20 seconds left and then went on and won it in Edmonton. Now, Edmonton, on the flip side of things, in this game last night, won it in overtime. Christian, this is building up to be, and I know last year, the Oilers darn near came back. They almost did it from down 0-3. The Panthers ended up winning in Game 7. But with this series tied 2-2, and I know Panther fans don't necessarily want to hear this today, I'm as upset as the other person. But this is gearing up to be one of the better Stanley Cup finals I think that we'll ever see. And hockey is really, they're on a roll. With last year, as I mentioned, being down 0-3 Edmonton and coming back in that series. The Four Nations and how successful that was, getting people locked into hockey. And now, with this being tied 2-2, with the rematch of the Stanley Cup, where Edmonton almost came back from down 0-3, now it's 2-2 heading back to Edmonton. Christian, sign me up for hockey. Sign me up.
Yeah, it's pretty miraculous because when you think of hockey and you think of America, so you probably don't think of Edmonton because I don't think that anyone knows where Edmonton is if you're an American citizen. You probably only know that the Edmonton Oilers exist, and if you try to place a pin on a map, you would have no luck. You might find yourself in South Africa or something.
Correct.
And you probably don't know that South Florida has a hockey team. You would assume that the Florida Panthers are somewhere in Orlando. But all of that being said, we're having magic happen on the ice, whether it's in Canada on the games up there or down at Amerant Bank Arena. It is just drama, intensity. the purest form of the sports where you do not know what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes, no matter what the previous 5 minutes had in store. There's no such thing as momentum. There's no such thing as, well, I've seen this book before. No, it's unpredictable. You cannot guess what will happen next in the Stanley Cup Finals.
I had a couple people text me, and they're like, Riz, this is the equivalent of being up 30-0 in an NFL game and blowing the lead. How gutted do you think Panther fans are today, Christian? 3-0 in the first period, and then not scoring another goal till the final 16 seconds of the game to send it to overtime.
Yeah, it's got to hurt. It's got to hurt real bad because you kind of were planning your parade plans when it was intermission after the first period. Because I thought the same thing. I thought, wow, I might just turn this game off. It's 3-0. If the Oilers don't score in the first 10 minutes of the second period, why am I going to waste my time watching the rest of this thing? It's signed, sealed, delivered. Let's watch them lift the cup when they go back to Edmonton. But then hockey happened.
Yeah.
And momentum does not exist. And the Oilers came out of the gates and just wiped it all clean and tied it up going to the third.
Yep. And Draisaitl was the hero in overtime scoring that. God, another thing I love about hockey is the golden goal. Christian, you know I'm a big football, soccer fan. I wish they could do it in soccer, but the guys are just out there running too long. But hockey really does it right with that overtime, man. It's truly, you're riding with every single touch of the puck in overtime with your team. And there are a lot of things, nothing better than, more football, nothing better than extra innings in baseball. Dude, hockey might have do you think hockey has the best overtime? I'm almost ready to go there. That just because how high the stakes are, hockey might have the best overtime.
Yeah, I think so. It's a good mix because in soccer, there's no guarantee you're actually going to have any scoring. And then if you don't have any scoring, you get to a carnival game penalty kicks finish. Right. And it kind of feels cheapening the moment that it's being decided like that.
Totally.
And yeah, people have their complaints about the Manfred man on second base in Major League Baseball, the ghost runner nowadays in regular season play. I think so. I think they've kind of have perfected it. You can't ask for anything more because no one was watching that overtime period and was thinking, damn, I wish the Panthers had another shot at this and we finished the period. And if you finish the overtime period, final score 5-4, then, okay, now it's settled. No. Golden goal makes complete sense because you guys have opportunities on offense and defense. It's not like football.
Let's give some credit to the NFL, though. I feel like they've come a long way in trying to fix their overtime. Both teams get the ball now, which I think should have happened years ago. Obviously, famously enough, in the playoffs, the Buffalo Bills always seem to be at the forefront of rules changing within the NFL. And the Buffalo Bills, I feel like, got the NFL to start having the conversation about changing the overtime rules. Now, obviously, they did it within the playoffs, but now they made it a league-wide thing in the regular season as well, that both teams are going to get playoffs. Do you like college football? I feel like college football is so fluky.
Oh, it's awful. I loved it before. Yeah, okay. I loved it before they changed it because of LSU, Texas A&M going into 8 overtimes. And now you want to talk about carnival game fluky. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's might be one of the worst ones, but it's like, God, the drama. Like, I'm addicted to the drama of it. I understand that it might not be the most fair thing ever. I'll listen to that. It might not be the most fair thing ever. But starting on the 20 and going, Christian, I mean, wow. That's just like, talk about living and dying with every play. I hate being the team in college football that gets the ball first and has to settle for 3. No worse feeling.
Yeah.
No worse feeling than getting the ball first and having to settle for 3. Because the next team is just going to go down and score a touchdown. The game's going to be over.
Sure. And to loop back to college football overtime, the reason why you don't despise it as much as I do is because you were covering sports in Illinois when it was Penn State, Illinois, who went to 9 overtimes.
Yeah.
And who lost that game? Penn State, my alma mater. So I despise it to the end of time that you go back and forth penalty kick style with 2-point conversions where your team in that state that you were covering sports at came out on the winning end.
Christian, how about this, brother? I had to run the board for that game because one of my part-timers called in sick. And it's Illinois and Penn State. I love the Big Ten. I could have all the other, it's like, dude, honest to God, producing football on a Saturday, I have a TV screen here. I have my laptop up. I'm watching football. All I got to do is hit a couple of buttons.
Yeah.
Brother, I was there for 5 hours. I finally, I was really close with my boss, Scott Heckathorn, out there. Shout out to Scott if he's listening. And I remember calling him after the game. I said, Scott, nobody wanted to win that football game.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Nobody wanted to win that football game.
It wasn't that we were seeing cool smoke and mirrors converted two-point conversions.
Score.
No one was getting any two-point conversions, so it was a tackle at the one fest or an incomplete pass fest. And likewise, like you, I had to work that day, but I had to work immediately after. I'm pretty sure that was a noon kickoff, and I had to go to a weed dispensary to do a remote broadcast to promote the grand opening there at that spot in middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, and I just show up with the biggest frown, with the worst mood, trying to people to get high on edibles on a country music station.
From a guy who doesn't smoke.
Exactly. So I had no idea what I was talking about. Get your pre-rolls here. I heard this is dank. Yeah, I had no idea what I was talking about. All I could think about was Sean Clifford and the Penn State Nittany Lions losing in 9 overtimes to Illinois. So I think it's fair to say that hockey overtime greater than college football overtime.
Definitely. And Christian, for you and I are firm handshakes in the chat for paying our dues in the middle of,
Yeah.
In the middle of, what were you, Central Oklahoma?
Northwestern Oklahoma.
Northwestern Oklahoma. And listen.
I wish it was Central. That mean to be OKC.
My Peoria listeners know I love them. I love Central Illinois, and I really embraced the community in my time when I was there. But, we could have firm handshakes in the chat on that. Partner, I forgot. Can I ask you something quickly about Penn State? How did Franklin survive that? How did James Franklin survive that year with kind of how I know Penn State fan base is?
Well, it was pretty much an injury to Sean Clifford, kind of derailed that season in 2020, where you kind of looked at it and they were on their way to almost a college football playoff berth because of having a lead over our top 10 ranked Iowa team. And then their quarterback gets hurt, and then it all went down from there. Because if you take away the 2020 season, where there were a lot of opt-outs because of COVID, because of draft worries, he kind of picked up where he left off in 2021 and got away with it.
And to be fair to Penn State and Franklin, from 2022 and on, they did not have in a season more than 2 losses. So Franklin's certainly doing good things. But Christian, that overtime game, one of the crazier things I've ever seen, and certainly the overtime game last night with the Panthers, and just leaving being gutted and wanting more. Now, more on when Mike Rizzo actually left the match in a little bit, but I do have the game-tying goal. Christian has the game-tying goal that sent it into overtime with less than 30 seconds left.
Moves it back in. Pickard. Now Kulak. Held in by Verhage. Now across. The truck with it. Score! Sam Reinhart ties it with just under 20 seconds remaining.
And obviously 20 seconds remaining, 19 and a half seconds exactly when that goal took place. Christian, unbelievable. I mean, when Mike Rizzo was in the car on the way back to West Palm Beach, by the way, listening to that, I did not think the Panthers were going to lose the game after that. Usually how these things are, I know we're talking a lot about overtime and who has the best overtimes and whatever. Usually when a team in hockey, at least in my eyes, sends it to overtime, that's going to be the team that has all of the momentum and it's going to win the game. Didn't happen in game 2. The Panthers actually were able to get away unscathed after they hit the game winner after Edmonton sent it to overtime, and then vice versa. The script got flipped. But what an unbelievable goal, too. If you watched it on TV, and listen, if you're on the YouTube chat, Christian's got the highlights going. It's unbelievable how the goal was actually scored.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. And a great visual is seeing the rows that are immediately in front of the broadcast camera in a hockey game. You see the arms go up. You see it get clouded a little bit. It's pandemonium because it is as frantic as it gets. There's no timeouts.
Right.
Like right. You're not waiting for this timeout to break and draw up a play and commercial break. All right, be back in 3 minutes. The moment gets lessened and the energy that's pent up gets dissipated while we hear from our partners over at Progressive. No. It is all happening so fast. You need it to happen right now and not a second later, and the Panthers got that done. And then just as excited as Florida Panthers got at the end of regulation, it sounded like this on TNT to close the evening.
Pulls it, cross-ice pass. Draisaitl puts it in. Score! Leon Draisaitl in overtime. The Edmonton Oilers tie the series 2 games apiece. Draisaitl sets an NHL record with his 4th overtime goal of this postseason and his 2nd in the Stanley Cup final for the first time in NHL history in a Cup final. A team leading by at least 3 goals after the first period loses the game.
Making history last night, Florida Panthers. You know what's kind of annoying by the way that was framed by Albert? You could have said, for the first time ever, a team that was trailing 3-0 came back and won a game in the Stanley Cup final, because it's the same thing as saying a team that led 3-0. It's for the first time lost the Stanley Cup final. A team won that game and lost that game.
It's one of those things. And listen, if we have Panther fans listening, 888-760-3776, this is a tough one to swallow. As Christian put it the best way I think anybody could. You're playing in the parade. God, Brian Rowitz and I were darn near planning the parade up in the press box when things were 3-0. And at that point, the Panthers had outscored the Edmonton Oilers 9-1 in 4 periods. 9-1. I'm like, this is a wrap.
Yeah, for the fans that maybe watched last year's Stanley Cup run on TV and maybe the run to the Cup final 2 years ago on TV, finally saved up enough money to go to this year's Stanley Cup final games in Sunrise. And they go, well, this is pretty easy.
Right.
The Oilers only score once in 4 periods, like you said. 9 goals. This is what playoff is. This is how nerve-wracking and biting your fingernails playoff hockey is. I'm a brand new Florida Panthers fan, and I just came to these 2 games. It seems pretty easy. It turns out that's not the case.
It's not the case, and that's the sport, right? That's why hockey is... I mean, I know a couple of buddies were hitting me up saying, Riz, it's like 30-0 in football, but is it like 30-0 in football? I say that because Edmonton had the puck on the Panthers side of the ice the entire second period. I mean, just battering Bobrovsky, battering Bobby. It's like, can we clear this puck out? And how about when Edmonton took out Skinner? You know, Skinner allowed the 3 goals, and then they go to Picard. And Picard only allows 1 and has a .957 save percentage. I feel like that's where the game kind of turned over, is when they took out Skinner. And heading into the game, Edmonton announced that they were going to keep Skinner in. And a lot of Oiler fans, at least what I saw on social media, Christian, there were a lot of Oiler fans there too. I do have to say, there were a decent amount of Oiler fans there. A lot of them were upset that Skinner was starting. And sure enough, he gets out of the game. Picard comes in, has a great save percentage. And really, the Panthers had nothing going offensively until about 19 and a half seconds off where Reinhart was able to tie the game up and send it into overtime. But, like, if let's take our Panther fandom out of it. Obviously, we wanted our Florida Panthers to go up 3-1 and to get control of the series. If you're a hockey connoisseur, if you're a sports connoisseur, that's everything you ever wanted in a game. I had so many of my friends reach out and you know, my Instagram folks at Mike Rizzo 22, you go follow. I was posting all night. They're like, Riz, you might have saw the best hockey game ever. Now, Christian,
no, you didn't.
Christian,
no, you didn't.
Christian, that leads us into our next topic of conversation here on Theoretically Speaking. By the way, Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo Dorsey. That's Christian Cat behind the glass. What time do you think I left?
I think you left after the first period. That's what I think you left. When the Panthers had a 3-0 lead and you had 20 minutes to kill, you said, might as well get a head-on traffic.
So you're saying when they were up 3-0?
Yeah, that's when it looked like it was over and we were planning parade plans.
Okay, I left Christian with 9 minutes to go in the third period. I had to. I was exhausted. I was exhausted. And listen, I loved every second of being at the game. The atmosphere was unbelievable. Christian, I pulled into my apartment at 12:15. The game wasn't over. The Draisaitl goal wasn't scored. I had to run. By the time I got inside, Draisaitl scored the goal. I was hoping to catch, the first half of overtime on the couch. My God, brother, that was I got to Duffy's in Plantation. Had a great time, by the way. Shout out Kyle. Saw our great contact over at Duffy's. Kyle, he made sure Theo and I had everything we needed on site. The great Jonathan Zaslow as well. But I got to Duffy's in Plantation like 10-1.
So you didn't possibly hear the most exciting goal in Amaranth Bank Arena.
Moves it back in. Picker. Now Kulak. Held in by Verhaeghe. Now across. The truck with it. Score!
So you were sitting at a light with your blinker going on while the most climactic moment in the history of this season.
I think I was on 95, but I found my way to 95 by then because it takes about 15, 20 minutes to get to 95. I was probably on 95. I probably just got on. And
Mike, listen, I'm all for leaving early if the game's over, effectively, if it's out of hand. We left when it was 5-1 and there were 7 minutes to go in the game. You left when it was tied.
Left when it was tied, 3-3. Or sorry, Yeah,
it was 3-3. The Panthers
3-3, and then the goal was scored 4-3 Edmonton, and then 4-4 Reinhart to send it to overtime. I missed the 2 goals in the third period, but
did you always know you were going to leave early?
I did. I was going to leave with 9. I said 10 minutes, 9 minutes left in the third period. I got to do 4 hours of radio tomorrow. I had a partner. I had a partner meeting today with the great MC John O'Terry. I had a lot of stuff to do today, and I didn't want to be running on 4 hours of sleep. And listen, do you want to know who's the real MVP of this situation with ESPN West Palm? Is our general manager, Stephanie Prince, who stayed there with her son and didn't get home until after 2 in the morning and was here at 8 a.m. She was here at 8 a.m. Our fearless leader was here at 8 a.m. after being out till 2 in the morning.
All right, so you kind of redeemed yourself with the last bullet point of your case for our general manager. 8 a.m. getting here, all right, that's great. But are we going to reward someone for getting to be at a Stanley Cup final game and staying to the end?
I mean, yeah. She's got kids. She's got 3 kids.
I mean, that was a fantastic game.
She's got a lot going on, dude. She runs this office and has 3 kids.
Everyone in that arena has a lot going on. It was a weekday.
I guess, but I did not want to sit in traffic till 2 in the morning. Honestly, I didn't. I didn't want to do it. And
once you got out of the parking lot,
I understand. I'm in the wrong here. There's no, and I'm not trying to defend myself.
Did you know you were in the wrong while you made that decision, and maybe when you got to the arena the first time? So, why didn't you avoid?
Say that again. Sorry.
Did you know you were going to be in the wrong tonight when you walked through the gates and got to the game?
I knew I was leaving early no matter what. I knew I was leaving before the final buzzer no matter what.
When you have the opportunity to not be in the wrong, won't you choose that way?
I don't know.
Because sometimes you retroactively realize that was a poor decision that I made. And then it makes sense. I was in the wrong.
Here's my issue. I don't regret it. I don't regret leaving. I was showered and in bed by 1 in the morning and sleeping by about 1:15. And I woke up at 7:30 in the morning and felt great. Great.
What time did you have to be at work in the morning?
I didn't have to be here till 11, but I got a workout in.
You could have skipped a workout in order to watch one of the greatest Stanley Cup final games of all time.
Discipline.
Yeah,
discipline.
You go to the gym tonight.
Discipline. There's something about when I used to be a night gym guy, but there's something about waking up in the morning and just feeling accomplished an hour and a half into being up.
If you're a sports fan listening right now, 888-760-3776, and you were not fortunate enough to be in Sunrise last night for an all-time classic. Of course, it didn't end the way Florida Panthers fans wanted it to end, but you would have probably sold a kidney or at least 3 toes in order to be in the building. Would you have stayed to the very end? Are you angry at Mike Rizzo for taking the opportunity and leaving the arena on his own accord because he was a little sleepy? Call in, 888-760-3776.
Worked all day, too. Worked all day, too.
So did everyone in the arena.
Oscar in the chat says, at least Panther fans know how the Falcons felt in that Super Bowl. So
that's a deflection. That's not according to the conversation we're having right now. That happened. That was 7 minutes ago.
Okay.
That comment was put in the chat.
But yeah, Panthers blew it. They blew a big one last night. They were down. Listen, Christian, and Colin Russo, who is he here today? No. But I was texting him last night, and he said, "Riz, bad move." I said, "Got to do what I got to do, man."
Right, because leaving a blowout is leaving a blowout. There's a reason why the seats that makes sense. But leaving a championship game.
Yep. Had to happen, Christian. I didn't want to sit in traffic. Wanted to be home at a decent time.
Well, those aren't
Big
all
day
the
today.
factors.
4 hours on the radio today. Had a great and productive meeting with some great partners today, potential partners. Very fun. Very fun day, and I'm feeling great. We got 7-on-7 tomorrow, too. Christian, 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
We're going to be at Kaiser University, beautiful Kaiser University, doing some 7-on-7.
Yeah, well, we had another sporting event on a work night less than maybe 6 months ago. It was the Orange Bowl. And if it was Ohio State in the Orange Bowl, would you have left early?
God, no.
Oh, so you just don't care about the Panthers.
It's not that I don't care about the Panthers. It's
different. That you don't care enough about the Panthers.
That's an alma mater.
Who cares?
I see the
We're
point.
leading the show talking about the game that you left last night.
Here's the thing. I am a new Panthers supporter, okay? A new Panthers supporter. This isn't like the Guards or the Cavs or one of my squats.
A team you actually care about.
Don't you do that. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I'm not doing it. Your actions and your decisions are telling me that.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Christian, I pulled in at 12:15. 12:15, which we're going to talk later. Listen, we got 4 hours to do, folks. We are loaded today. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to do it. We're going to do something called Rank 'em. Christian and I are going to rank them. Coming up next, I'll explain exactly what that is. We're going to rank things 1 through 5. 1 through 5, meaning the best one, the worst 5. It's going to be a mixture of everything. A little sports, a little food, a little pop culture. We're going to rank them. Coming up next, we're going to hit the get around. We're going to do a little window shopping. All of that coming up in the 4 hours of, what are we calling this? Riz and Cat Fest. Riz and Cat Fest here on ESPN 106.3. Was I in the wrong for leaving the Panther game? 888-760-3776. Got pulled in at 12:15, right when the Draisaitl goal happened. Was Riz in the wrong? 888-760-3776. And also, were you upset the Panthers blew that 3-0 loss? How you feeling, Panther fans, today had a chance to go up 3-1 in the series. Instead, it is 2-2 now, heading back to Edmonton. We're going to rank them. Coming up next, this is Theoretically Speaking, Mike Rizzo. That's Christian Cat, and we're on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that wants to learn more about careers with Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new 2025 Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful 2025 Defender 110 P300S for just $889 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Duffy's Sports Grill is raising a glass to the class of 2025. Every graduation deserves a party, and Duffy's is the place to celebrate. Reserve your spot now and let Duffy's handle it all. With private party spaces, party platters, and custom menus for groups of 12 or more. Plus, now through June 15th, get a $10 MVP bonus for every $50 in gift cards you grab. Level up your graduation at Duffy's. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to book your party today. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that wants to learn more about careers with Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Pulls it, cross-ice pass, right side, across the net, score! Leon Draisaitl in overtime. The Edmonton Oilers tie the series.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo Dorsey. That is Christian Cat behind the glass. We are live at the City Place Studios and the Evan Cohen Studios here in ESPN West Palm. We are live on YouTube, Twitter/X, and you can listen to, at least my favorite way is on the ESPN app. You go to the Listen Live tab and scroll all the way down to ESPN West Palm. Panther fans, we want to hear from you. 888-760-3776. You want to chime in on your thoughts on the Panthers blowing a 3-0 lead last night and having the series tied at 2-2, heading back to Edmonton. 3-0. Panthers were up after that first period. And something I left out, Mike Rizzo was not there for the final couple of goals that were scored. 3 goals, Christian, I missed. 3 goals I missed in the third period and counting overtime. You guys had a problem with me leaving the building early because I, quote-unquote, had a big work day today. Now, Christian, do you want to know where I know you wouldn't leave early?
What?
That's the U.S. Open going on right now at Oakmont. Can you give us an update, brother?
I would pitch a tent outside the front gates if they would let me in Plum, Pennsylvania. Oakmont Country Club, the home of the third major of the year. Let's take a gander at the leaderboard as it stands right here, right now on ESPN 106.3. JJ Spawn, he's through 5 holes. He led the pack yesterday at the conclusion of play, and he still leads everybody now. He's at 4 under on the tournament, dead even on the day. We'll see if he moves up, moves down. Maybe the course gets to him, maybe it doesn't. But how about Sam Burns? 5 under on the day, shot a 65, the best tournament of anybody so far in this year's U.S. Open. Sam Burns is in a tie for second, 1 stroke off the lead at 3 under with South African Thriston Lawrence, who has yet to tee off today. We'll see if Thriston can climb up the leaderboard. Another big mover on the day was Victor Hovland, and it's funny, when you talk about big movers at a tournament like this, which is known for notoriously poor scores, especially when you're talking about the best in the world at golf, a big mover can be just 2 under par. That's Victor Hovland. He had an eagle today. He was very strong. Victor Hovland is in a tie for 5th, 3 strokes off the lead at 1 under. Riz, want to guess how many people in the field of this year's U.S. Open are under par so far?
15.
6. Only 6.
Half.
Siwoo Kim, Victor Hovland, Ben Griffin, who's won on the tour so far this year once before. The aforementioned Lawrence, Burns, and Spawn.
That's what we like, though. We like these golfers getting tested. No one wants to see 30 under, right?
Yeah, we are seeing the best in the world tested to the highest lengths. The leaderboard update's brought to you by PainCare Florida. At PainCare Florida, their specialists use state-of-the-art procedures to relieve pain and get you moving. PainCare Florida, stop hurting, start living today. This leaderboard update is also brought to you by the Breakers Palm Beach, Kaiser University, and PGA Golf Club.
Well, we're certainly going to be having our eyes and ears on the U.S. Open as we progress through the weekend. We're going to be watching the Stanley Cup Final as well and the NBA Finals, which we will get to here in just a second. But I mentioned before we went to break, I wanted to play, Christian and I are on for 4 hours today. We're going to have some fun with you listeners today. And we're going to do something called Rank 'em, where we are going to rank a plethora of things. Like, for instance, all the categories we have. And I came up with the categories. I'm going to have Christian read them to me. We'll get Kat's opinion on these as well. We're going 1 through 5. 1 being the best and obviously 5 being the worst. Players within the NFL, NBA, organizations, actors, food. We're doing it all. But before we get to this, let's hit a couple of the YouTube chats. J-Man says, Riz, if you bought the tickets, it's okay to leave. However, personally, I'd say the whole game. Now,
how much did you spend on your ticket?
I had a credential.
So how much did you spend on your credential?
0.
Oh, so you were given access to the game and you said, you know what? I would rather be in my bed.
Correct. Brian Rowitz, our content director, boss, Big Huncho, says whenever the game is talked about as one of the greatest all-time greats, I can't read. Riz can't say he was there. I could say I was there for 2.5 periods.
No, you cannot say you were at that game at all.
2.5 periods. I was there for 2.5 periods.
Did you see the Oilers win in overtime?
No, I didn't, but I was there for 2.5 periods.
Did you see the Panthers tie it with 19.5 seconds to go? That place was a madhouse, Riz. How loud was it?
I was not there, but I saw the Panthers go up 3-0 and Edmonton tied the game, and I listened in the car on my way home because I had a lot of things going on the next day.
Wait, like not that night, the next day?
I know I'm wrong here. Christian, I know I'm wrong here. I have no shame that I left early. I don't. And I'm completely okay with all those stipulations. Every single one of them.
I don't think that the organizers of the College Football National Championship game, which is at Hard Rock Stadium this year, you shouldn't get a credential if Ohio State's there because you won't use it. There's going to be a member of the media who will be there for each and every second, pre, post, use that spot to cover the event.
It's not fair.
Your reputation is that, oh, no, that seat's going to be vacant anyways. So why are we going to give him access when we can give it to somebody else, an up-and-coming journalist who's trying to break into the industry?
Hang on. This past Orange Bowl that was played between your Penn State Nittany Lions and Notre Dame, we were there the whole time. We were there the whole time.
Oh, so you were in your seat the whole time.
We were there the whole time.
So you saw the game-winning field goal from those awesome seats that you had mere feet away from history being made?
We did.
You were in your seats when this field goal got kicked.
We were at the top.
Oh, you were not in your seats.
We were at the top of the section.
The seats were...
Christian, I saw the field goal go in and the Notre Dame fans go crazy, and then Colin and I exited.
Okay, well...
And had a perfect exit strategy.
If you're going to spend that much money on tickets that are that good at the Orange Bowl, you can spend that money however you like. How much did you pay for those tickets?
My Uncle Patrick got them. My Uncle Patrick.
That was given to you.
They were given to myself and Colin Russo.
And you didn't use the seat the whole time? You left?
We didn't use the seat for a grand total of about 12.5 seconds.
I guess those 12 seconds didn't matter, though.
They did matter, but we saw the field goal go in. Listen, I agree with you. I'm dead wrong on leaving the hockey game early. But we are not wrong. Excuse me, when I say we, Colin Russo of Russo and Rizzo, you can listen to 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on these very airwaves. We were not in the wrong for watching the game-winning field goal go in from the top of the section and then playing our exit strategy out of the Orange Bowl.
I guess that game-winning field goal to clinch a spot in the national championship game, it must have been kicked in the other uprights that were across the field, right? Not the ones that you were sitting directly behind?
We were directly behind it.
Oh, so you could have caught that football. Like it was right there.
Well, the netting got in the way. But
we've seen footballs get over the net.
I understand the point. And listen, a lot of people, they have a problem with it. It's all right. It's okay. I wanted to make sure I was ready and fresh and ready to go today for everyone of 4 hours of radio and breaking down the game.
But
that's it.
It's better to break down the game if you're at the game. And you
I
were.
was.
You were, and you chose not to be later.
Could be onto something. But 888-760-3776, that number to call on in. Was I in the wrong for leaving that Panther game early last night? I left with about 9 minutes to go in that third period, beat the traffic, and was ready to roll. Christian, and listen, people in the parking lot, it was like eerie. It was the calm before the storm.
Oh, because no one else was
ready.
Maybe
you should have
ungrateful enough to leave early in the instant classic.
You should have seen like the ride share, the pickup line for like the Ubers and stuff. Oh my God, dude. Wrapped around the whole thing.
West Coast T wants to weigh in on Mike Rizzo leaving with 7 minutes to go in the third quarter of a tied Stanley Cup final game where the Panthers were leading in the series 2-1 and they now trail 2-2. West Coast T, what's up, my man? What you got to say?
All right. First off, I have no issue with it. I don't think there's nothing wrong with him leaving early if that's what he felt he had to do. At the end of the day, there wasn't a fourth win for neither team. So when nobody holding up no championship at the end of the day. If it was a game 4 or if somebody's winning the championship, then I could kind of see. But in the game, and something that's played in series, and we're not at a championship game yet, ain't no problem with the brother leaving early. If the brother felt he needed to leave early, let him leave early.
Right. West Coast team, my man. And listen, for the record, I would have, to his point, if a trophy is being handed, if this is a possible closeout game, I have to stay.
Yeah, sure.
I have to stay.
I want to see that check that you're writing right now, cash.
Okay.
And Game 6.
Yeah, because we're all going to be credentialed. Absolutely. If the Panthers are up 3-2, and there's a chance they get close out, I will not leave. On God, I will not leave.
Right.
Honestly,
Leo,
I will not leave.
Leo in Riviera Beach, he joins us on Theoretically Speaking. Leo, what's up, my guy?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys, as always. But Rizzo, I usually agree with you. I respect your passion, everything like that. But wasn't it 3-3? Wasn't it 3-3 in the middle of the third period?
Leo, it was 3-3, and people. I was getting looks from the security staff like, you're leaving? I really was.
Yeah. And this is becoming like a little, I've kind of noticed listening over the time that might be becoming like a little bit pattern. But like you should, in my opinion, as a sports fan, when I go to a game, I expect that it's going to take an hour to leave anyway. So I just build that time in, and so I don't leave early. There was a game where the Dolphins were down 21-0, I think, in 2005. And then they were down 23-0 at one point, started the fourth quarter. Sage Rosenfeld led them back. And I stayed the whole game, cried for joy when the Dolphins won that game 24-23 at the buzzer with Chris Chambers catching the game-winning touchdown in the end zone. So I'm just telling you, man, like, I thought it was over after the first period, but I was watching from home, so, I'm good. But you got to stay. Just account for that time. Just say, hey, I'm going to be tired tomorrow. Just account for that extra time.
It's a tough look. Listen, I'm not sitting here saying that I'm not in the wrong here. I am coming out and saying, hey, officer, I did this. What's my punishment?
So, but you said you would do it again.
I would.
So you would
again.
run over that old lady who was crossing the street. You were impatient. You were late for work.
Right,
so you blew through a stop sign and nailed that old lady. She got a hip replacement.
Why do you got to put it? God, you got to be so to the point.
But
Christian.
you would do it again. You would commit the offense again.
In a non-closeout situation, I would. And listen, maybe this is like, if it was one of the, and Christian, you brought up a great point. If it were the Buckeyes, if it were this, if it were that, probably not leaving, mate. Probably not leaving.
It would make sense,
but it's not,
if it was 3-0 in the third. It would make sense. But it's a tie game in the Stanley Cup final.
I think it's unfair to put those stipulations on me. Obviously, I'm not a diehard Panther fan. I have a rooting interest for them. I hope they win. I hope everyone here gets to, I'm entrenched in the South Florida community. I'm one of you guys now. I want the team to win.
Oh, no.
I want the team to win.
Saying you're one of you guys now to our loyal fans of both the station and our local teams,
I'm
because
a South Floridian.
your actions last night clearly indicate that you're not ready to be, quote, one of you guys now.
Why?
If you were
because
one of you
I left
guys
early?
now.
Because I wanted to do a great 4-hour show with it. Hang on, is Theo here? Is Colin here? And I'm not going to throw Tina under the bus again. I know better. You get what I'm saying? I wanted to make sure I was good to go today.
I think that
a partner interview this morning. I know they listen when I say a potential client for partnership is good karma words. I had a potential client come in that wants to spend money on the radio station. Like, guys, I had things going on today. I had stuff going on today.
A good part of our show could have been your experience after talking to people after one of the worst collapses in Stanley Cup final history. Actually, it was the worst collapse in Stanley Cup final history because no one has ever blown a 3-0 lead after the first period. So it would have been pretty valuable to talk to loyal Panther fans after an atrocity happened to their Panthers hockey team.
Yeah.
That would be a pretty good way to prepare for a 4-hour show. That's a lot of content to talk about rather than...
Listen.
95 went by a breeze. It was easy. That's what we can talk about for a couple minutes, I guess.
Still got plenty of stuff to talk about here, and we're going to have to take a timeout. But listen, folks, if you want to chime in, 888-760-3776. I did leave last night's game in the third period. I missed the final 3 goals. Am I at fault here? 888-760-3776. Am I at fault for leaving the game?
What did you do to make today's show better with the time that you gained from leaving early?
We got a lot of game. We're doing a lot of things. We're window shopping today on theoretically speaking. We're going to rank them.
So we're
going to play in or out. We're going to do a lot. And I just made some money. Hopefully, fingers crossed for the station today as well.
So if you stayed to the end, none of those things would have happened?
I just it's. You got
yes or no?
You got to set goals, Christian. And the goal I have right now, too, another big reason why I wanted to leave too. I'm in the process of getting back down to 195. I'm in the process of losing weight, and I like waking up in the morning.
Do some jumping jacks in intermission, dude. Come on.
Do some jumping jacks, Christian. A jumping jack. I was on the treadmill this morning. I got a lift in. Felt great.
That's true.
I feel great.
You could have done it tonight. What are you doing tonight?
I would have been, Christian, if I went up till 2 a.m, I'd be sleeping in here. You'd have to call me an Uber. You have to call me an Uber from the station.
Well, not if you set an alarm. People have done work days after not having a lot of hours to sleep before. Everyone who was there last night's doing the same thing. They probably had to get into work earlier than 11 a.m. after watching an instant classic. And you know what? They would have done it again. They would have stayed there until the 7th overtime.
So for everybody who says they stay the whole time no matter what, Christian Cat is a man who did not stay the whole time for a game in the 6-1 win. So listen, I understand I'm the one under fire here, all right? But at the same time, for those of you saying, Rizzy, it's a Stanley Cup game, you stay no matter what. 888-760-3776, that number to call on in. Am I in the wrong? Folks, as I said, we got a lot of stuff to do today. We're going to rank them. We're going to play in or out. We're going to do something called window shopping.
And what we're not going to do is talk about the fan reaction to the Oilers game-winning goal in overtime. We can't talk about that.
888-760-3776. If you were in the house, let us know as well. If you have an opinion on myself skipping out in the third period, give us a ring. We're coming right back. Theoretically speaking, Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo. That's Christian Cat behind the glass, and we're on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
A resort destination beyond compare, yet conveniently close to home. The Breakers Palm Beach offers everything you desire with the service you deserve in a breathtaking oceanfront setting. Immerse yourself in unparalleled seaside glamour and enjoy all the Breakers has to offer as you create lasting memories with those who matter most. The best part, you don't have to travel far to feel worlds away. Visit thebreakers.com or call 1-800-BREAKERS today.
Good people. It's Theo Dorsey. travel back to prehistoric times for Dino Night at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium, Saturday, June 21st at 4 p.m., presented by Cox Science Center. Come out and get your picture taken with your favorite dinosaurs while also taking in a ball game. Plus, it's also another Kids Club Saturday with kids running the bases after the game. Stop by the ticket office to purchase your tickets or go to RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
This is ESPN 106.3, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3, the ESPN app, and streaming on your smart speaker.
Mike Rizzo here with the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management Program. NIL has been a topic of conversation for a long time now in college sports. A settlement was finally made in the House versus the NCAA court case. The settlement is going to pay a whopping $2.8 billion back to athletes who lost name, image, and likeness from 2016 and on. So if you played in 2016 on, you could receive some of that $2.8 billion. And moving forward, each school can pay its athletes up to a certain limit. The annual cap is expected to start at roughly $20.5 million per school. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management Program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on the job placement for students and graduates. The FAU MBA in Sport Management Program.
The pricing you've been waiting for is back at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Get a new 2026 Kia Sportage for $249 a month, a 2025 Kia K4 for $199 a month, or a 2024 Kia Telluride for as low as $38,998. Save up to $11,000 off MSRP on select new Kias and get up to $6,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade-in. Job bringing home $350 per week? We want to approve your credit. Call 800-NEW-KIAs or visit GreenwayKia@WestPalmBeach.com for the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. Make the most of your summer.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
With approval through KFA, stock number SG005991. MSRP $45,235. 24-month leases. K4 $39.99. Sportage $39.99 due. At signing, $10,000 each per year. 0 security deposit plus tax tag and $9.99 admin fee. Discount includes all Kia factory rebates to dealer. Negative equity refinanced. Offers don't combine. Expires July 15, 25.
It's Theo Dorsey, and I'm feeling hot, hot, hot. Temperatures are up, but your water shouldn't be full of mystery floaties. Culligan's got your back with water testing and reverse osmosis systems to keep things clean, cool, and crisp this summer. And get this, you can try it for just $10 a month. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and stop drinking who knows what. Visit Culligan.com today to schedule your free water test.
Hey, Culligan man!
Now Kulak, held in by Verhaeghe. Now across, to Chuck with it, score!
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo Dorsey. That is Christian Cat behind the glass. 888-760-3776. That number to call on in. We are reacting to the Panthers losing last night's game in Sunrise. Series tied 2-2 as we head back to Edmonton. I am on the hot seat because I decided to leave early in the third period and miss out on the final 3 goals of the game. And that goal you just heard to send it on into overtime. Christian, you want to know who's not on the hot seat?
Who?
And who's not in hot water?
Who?
That is Kaiser University, because we were going to be there for our upcoming 7-on-7, but they have championships littered across the campus.
26 national championships. Only a few teams can finish their seasons with a win, and oftentimes that's the Kaiser Seahawks, whether it's on the tennis court where they won their first ever NAIA title this season, Whether you're talking about the men's lacrosse team, where they didn't win their first championship this season, they won their third consecutive red banner. The Kaiser Seahawks are all about championships on the field and in the classroom. Kaiser also captured its 5th Sun Conference Commissioner's Cup, going to the most successful athletic department in the conference. You're at a graduation party, at a cookout this weekend, maybe you're talking to your dad about maybe your son wants or daughter wants to go somewhere for college. You got to consider Kaiser. You got to consider Kaiser because they can not only win a championship on the field in the game they play, but they're going to get good grades because they are champions in the classroom and on the field. KUSeahawks.com to get more info about the champions that reside right here in West Palm Beach.
We talked to Chris Swager, AD of Kaiser University yesterday, myself and Theo Dorsey. We talked a lot about the new NIL deal that got signed, sealed, and delivered in the courthouse and how it affects not only all of college sports, but also our Kaiser Seahawks. And I mentioned already our 7-on-7. Stop on over at Kaiser University tomorrow for our 7-on-7 event.
Yeah, you're doing PA announcing, or I am. One of us is going to be doing PA announcing. Yeah. So, what's your strategy for being a PA announcer? Because we've got schools around the area that have very different tactics, if you would, when they get behind the mic on a high school football Friday night, where some people are doing play-by-play as a PA announcer, where it's,
oh, God,
Johnson drops back to pass, and this is over the loudspeaker, so everyone knows exactly what's happening.
And I think we all, listen, at least here in the ESPN West Palm Circle, we all know which school we're talking about here, all right? Ridiculous. But I'm going traditional.
Okay.
I'm going complete traditional.
So from whistle to whistle.
Johnson on the carry, 9-yard gain, bringing up second and whatever for so-and-so. And that's it. Just very, very conservative. How about that? The school that I went to, my high school, guy was very conservative and he was great. All right, you don't want to overdo things like this. You're not on a television broadcast, guys.
Okay, right? So
you're not Stephen A. Smith on First Take. Okay, let's pump the brakes a little bit with the people overreacting on the PA in high school. And you know who you are. All right, you know who you are. Okay, let's pump the brakes a bit. But yes, I will be going very conservative.
So what's your touchdown call? Because it's not a traditional call where you don't have to react in the moment. You get to think about it for a little bit when that ball is caught by Atlantic in the end zone and they take a 6-0 lead before the either 1, 2, or 3-point try. What's your touchdown call?
Let's put it this way. Since I'm not, I don't have to be biased, you know what I mean? I'm not doing this for a specific school. Say if an opposing team were to score, it's touchdown Atlantic, just something simple
there's no opposing team
exactly.
All.
But now it's touchdown Atlantic.
I like
and
it.
Then on the catch was number 7, so-and-so.
That's good.
It.
That's good. There's a fine art because you don't want to do too much, but you want to be additive to the environment.
Right. But growing up, going to NBA games, I always, my cousin, my brother, and I, we always used to love when the opposing player would score a 3, our PA announcer would go, let's say Richard Jefferson scored, and I don't know why I thought of RJ. Very random. Richard Jefferson, 3. You know what I mean? And when one of your players scores this, LeBron James, and I'm it's a big deal. So, listen, you're not, and for all of our local PA guys out, listen, this isn't the NFL. You're not calling games for the Miami Dolphins. You're not the PA guy for the Dolphins.
But even if you are, the PA guy from the Dolphins isn't describing the action on the field while it's happening. That's just not the job. It's the pre and post play.
Right.
Informing the audience. 1st and 10.
Yes.
Before the huddle's broken, and then it's quiet. Once the whistle blows after the 5-yard completion, then it's a 5-yard catch by Jalen Waddle, 2nd and 5.
Right. And do you want to know, Christian, you were in the building too. I know you gave me heat for it, for, technically not sitting in the damn seat for the whole game. But the Orange Bowl, I thought that guy did a hell of a job. The PA announcer for the Orange Bowl did a great job. Great job.
Yeah. I don't remember that. I remember my heart being ripped out of my chest as a Penn State Nittany Lion fan.
There you go.
And the Irish of Notre Dame just repeatedly stepping on it and throwing it down the stairs. So I don't recall the PA announcer of the Orange Bowl, but I'm sure he did a great job.
I'm excited, though, for tomorrow. It's my first 7-on-7 event. We invite you all to come on out and check it out. Christian, we're going to have specialty programming. coming up tomorrow as well. We're going to be on these airwaves, and then we're doing a little PA announcing.
It's going to be hot.
And it's going to be hot. And I got my outfit. I have an Inter Miami bucket hat. My Inter Miami bucket hat. I'm going to need to buy glasses, though, because all my freebie glasses have been busted in my book bag. This is why I can't have nice things, by the way, and buy really expensive sunglasses because I'll break them. And then I'm just going to wear my red ESPN polo with my with some khaki shorts. It's going to be hot, Christian. Don't wear pants.
It's going to be really, really hot. Exactly. You do not want the swamp butt whatsoever. That does not do anybody good. No. I'm rocking golf floppy hat that curls up with like a cowboy hat when you put the headset on.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good look for you. I can't pull something off like that, but it's a great look for you.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It should be a good time at Kaiser University. Some really good football going on. If you want a sneak preview of the Friday Night Lights, you got to be there.
Totally. Christian, a couple more things here before we take a timeout. Is Theo Dorsey going to be there? Is Colin Russo going to be there? It's us, man. You and me.
Yeah.
I know we're button heads right now. I know you think I'm very in the wrong on leaving that, but hey, it's you and me this weekend, bro.
Yeah, you know what?
It's you and me.
Hell, while we're throwing arrows, where the hell's Cade Shumslin at? Yeah, huh? Mr. High School Football.
Right? Mr. Top 63 himself. Self-proclaimed football man.
You know, I plan things around our schedule.
I do too.
And I'm starting to think, like, am I wasting my time by doing that?
Right.
If, like, things are just kind of, be there if you can.
Right. And this is, like, Christian, we've sat in the meetings with the great Mike Matroka, our head of sales here. Our great GM, Stephanie Prince, and our marketing manager, Christina Costanzo, you could hear on these airways 2 to 4. This is the start. They call this event, the 7-on-7, the kickoff to football season. Maybe top 63, maybe we just mail it in. Maybe for the top 63, you and I just mail it in.
Yeah,
you know, we're here, but I'm not going. We're going to take a day. I got days to take off. We're going to take a day for the top 63.
Theo's cruising today. He actually showed up at the office. I spoke with him. He's going on a cruise this weekend.
Is that serious? He was just in France, right?
He likes his vacations. He likes his days off. He uses every bit of them.
I got told, HR Anna, who is part of our HR department with Good Karma Brands. She's our
HR. People
here.
can relate to HR.
Yeah, people can relate to HR. She's our HR person, and she's like, Riz, if you don't use them, you're gonna lose them. Christian, you got to realize something, and I think you could relate working in the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma. If we took off, it was the end of the world.
Yeah.
I could not, I did not go on vacation. It's like, I would mention to my boss, like, I'm going on vacation. It's like, oh, you know what I mean? I'm not used to, Riz, go on vacation. I'm not used to that. I'm just, you know what I mean? I show up to work every day. Like, I'm not used to, Riz, you got, like, unless there's I took off for a wedding, but, like, I am yet to take off for, like, a full week straight, you know? I don't think I'm going to do it either. I really don't. Like, Christian, how I strategically plan on using these days, so the week of, when the holiday Juneteenth, we're off on Juneteenth, I'm taking that Friday off because I have a wedding back at home. And then after that, I have a destination wedding for my cousin Katie in Colorado. So, like, back-to-back week, and I feel really bad about it, honestly. I really do. So when you guys are mentioning that back-to-back weekends, Riz isn't here, I feel terrible about it. But there's nothing I can do. These one of my best friends that I grew up with and my first cousin Katie. So, like, I got to do it. But, like, I don't think I'll ever take a full week and a half off. It'll be like Thursday, Friday, Riz isn't here. Or Thursday, Riz is working from remote from this said city that has this studio where I'm able to do the show, and that's how it goes. Should I just take the week off? Am I thinking about this too much? Should I have just taken the full week where the Juneteenth holiday falls? Should I just taken that full week off?
Then again, if you use I think people can relate to this. If you ever used an off day and didn't have a good day, like just a random Thursday because you thought you were going to have plans, you forgot to swipe that requested day off in the record so you have nothing going on, it almost feels like a waste. So if you're going to use your off days just because you don't want to lose them, you better plan something for those days, or else it almost feels counterproductive. Because if you're out, some things get thrown. You kind of inconvenience yourself before and after a vacation.
Right.
And you got to make up for it to make sure everything's taken care of so you can vacation with ease.
I understand that. But let me throw this out there to you to compare to you and to me on this. Christian, doesn't this sound like a glorious day off to you? Playing 36 holes, not a worry in the world. You're off the next day. Like, you're not going anywhere. You're here in South Florida, but you're playing 36 holes and you're taking advantage of a day off. Me, going to the pool, getting the gym, getting a workout in, going out to a nice restaurant. Christian, getting something good to eat here in West Palm Beach, coming home, playing a little video games, watching a little anime, and going to bed. Isn't that, like, I don't know. I'm not going anywhere for that. And that's a productive, for me, that is a well worth it day off. I went to the pool. I went to the gym. I got a good meal. Say I went out and got a steak at a steakhouse. Came back, played a little game, watched some sports, watched a little anime.
Yeah, but like those things can all be done on a work day, can they not? Like
no.
In the golf example, that's a 4-hour commitment. And in order to play 2 rounds of golf, yeah, you need to have that day off. You're lucky if you can do one of those on a work day.
But not to do it properly. I understand what you're saying, but like,
what's a proper way to play video games?
A proper way for me to enjoy a day off is me not thinking about work. If I have to work that day, I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about what I have to do at work. Okay. It's like I have trouble, like that's why I like working out in the morning, Christian, because it's like a victory. You know what I mean? If I'm working that day, getting up and working out in the morning, that's a victory for me. But to have that day off of just not having to worry about anything, I think is very worthwhile. Folks, we got plenty left here on Theoretically Speaking. We have a full hour of Theoretically Speaking left, and then we got 2 more hours of Riz and Cat Fest with Russo and Rizzo coming
I got to
up.
workshop that name. Riz and Cat Fest kind of sounds like something you need to go to the doctor for.
All right, well, how about this? Let's think about it in the break. We'll come back with a stronger name for Mike Rizzo and Christian Cat, holding down the fort for from 2 to 6 today. We still got to do all of our fun stuff. We got to rank them. We got to play in or out. We got to do a little window shopping, not to mention the 5 of 5. We're going to blitz the book later as well. We got to get around to. Plenty to get to on to be determined what we're calling Rizzo and C-Cat for 4 hours here on ESPN 106.3.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-7473. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Trans World Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
As market dynamics change, the quality and service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Partner-owned since 1923, Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't. Visit ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
Duffy's Sports Grill is raising a glass to the class of 2025. Every graduation deserves a party, and Duffy's is the place to celebrate. Reserve your spot now and let Duffy's handle it all. With private party spaces, party platters, and custom menus for groups of 12 or more. Plus, now through June 15th, get a $10 MVP bonus for every $50 in gift cards you grab. Level up your graduation at Duffy's. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to book your party today. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or BradleyAir.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Introducing the bold, the powerful, the all-new 2025 Range Rover Sport P530 Dynamic SE. A luxury SUV that commands attention with its refined design, dynamic performance, and cutting-edge technology. Lease the 2025 Range Rover Sport for just $15.29 per month for 36 months. Drive in style, power, and comfort, all for just $15.29 a month. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and take the new Range Rover Sport for a spin. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Streaming live on YouTube.
You're gonna break up with me because of what I do on the radio?
Here's Theo Dorsey.
Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo Dorsey on Theoretically Speaking. That is Christian Cat behind the glass. We are live on ESPN 106.3. You can watch us on YouTube, Twitter/X, Facebook, all of that good stuff. Or listen my favorite way, on the ESPN app. Talked a lot about that Panther loss, overtime loss, carbon copy of what Edmonton, at least the third period, of what Edmonton did to the Panthers in Game 2, sending it to overtime, then losing on their home ice. The Panthers sent it to overtime and then lost on their home ice. It is tied 2-2. I left the match early. People had a problem with it.
Come on. It's a game. We're in America.
Left that game early. People had a problem with it. You guys had a problem with it. 888-760-3776. Now, I mentioned earlier that we were going to do something called Rank 'em. Now, Riz, what is Rank 'em? It's where we're going to rank a plethora of things, 1 through 5. 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. I got quarterbacks on here, NBA players, organizations, actors, food. Christian, let's get started.
All right, Mike Rizzo, we all know who the best quarterback in the NFL is, and his name begins with Patrick and his name ends with Mahomes. And how about these guys? Rank these quarterbacks: Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Matt Stafford, Josh Allen, and Jaden Daniels. You've got 5 names to work with. I need you to rank them 1 through 5.
All right, let's go number 1.
Number 1.
Josh Allen. MVP last year. I understand maybe Lamar Jackson was more deserving of the award. Head-to-head in the playoffs, Josh Allen beat Lamar Jackson. I understand that the boogeyman for Josh Allen and that football team are the Kansas City Chiefs. But my prototypical quarterback, and listen, Lamar is unreal, and you're going to find out he's very high on my list here coming up. My prototypical quarterback in the NFL, 6'3", 6'4", pocket passer, who's mobile. Doesn't necessarily leave the pocket early. Not saying Lamar does that, folks. But my prototypical quarterback in the NFL is Josh Allen, and he is number 1, excluding Patrick Mahomes on the list. So let's move on to number 2.
Number 2.
This is the hard. We all agree that the top 3 are probably anywhere between of Lamar, Burrow, Allen. Obviously, I have Allen 1. I'm going to go Lamar 2 here, and here's why. In years past, I probably would have put Joe Burrow. But I'm putting Lamar number 2 here.
So you changed.
I did.
This is different than like 2 months ago, and not one snap of football has been played.
I think my opinion got changed at the end of last season. Is that fair on this?
So did it take 3 months to absorb?
A little bit. I think so. I think you might be onto something on that. But I'm choosing Lamar because I think that situation in Baltimore is better. And like I already think we're splitting hairs deciding between who's better between Allen, Burrow, and Jackson. They're all great. It's hard to separate them. But with the team Lamar is on, and let's give credit to Lamar. He's built the Ravens to what they are, which is a powerhouse in the AFC and a team who consistently wins arguably the hardest division in football year in and year out. I'm putting Lamar 2 on here because he is on the better team than Joe Burrow. And quite honestly, I think he does more than Burrow. Number 3.
Number 3.
Burrow's 3. As I already have mentioned, it's tough. But Burrow is 3 because of the stench that is the Bengals right now. Could the Bengals come out and win 12 games and win the division? Absolutely. Do I think the Bengals are going to come out and win 12 games? Absolutely not. The defense is a nightmare. Joe Burrow threw for, I always get this wrong, I believe 400 yards and over 4 touchdowns in 2 games last year. How many of those games did they win? Zilch. Defense is an issue. You're giving 3 guys on offense $30 million a year. And you're going to let Trey Hendrickson walk. And now the rookie that you drafted doesn't want to be on the team because you're putting in fine print things on his contract saying if he gets in trouble, he's not going to get his money.
But you're giving me reasons as to why Joe Burrow is dealing with adversity. How does that make him a worse quarterback than the other 2 guys you mentioned?
My last point. Injuries have something to play into it. I understand he threw for 4,900 yards last year and was incredible. Could have been the MVP. How about this? All 3 of these guys, Christian, could have been the MVP at Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen this year. Go look at the numbers. All of them had a great case to be the MVP. Burrow is below Jackson because I think Lamar does more. I think he does. I'm not saying Joe Burrow is immobile and he's a potato in the pocket. He's an athlete. But Lamar does more. He's on the better team. And he's healthier. I think for those 3 reasons he's above Joe Burrow. Let's move on to number 4.
Number 4.
I'm going with Matt Stafford.
Is this who you're going to start your season with?
Yes.
Because the other option here, who you just put Matt Stafford above, is Jaden Daniels.
Yes. These are the 5 guys. You were ranking these based on who you want next year. Stafford proved last year there's a lot left in that tank. And they played the Super Bowl champ better than anybody in the playoffs, including the mighty Kansas City Chiefs who got pantsed in that Super Bowl. Give me Stafford, man. That guy's a gamer. And I know I was on, nonetheless, last year, the Rams to figure out the future of the position because I thought Stafford was going to be getting older, and he made me eat my words. I'd take Matt Stafford next year, and he is number 4 on the list. So let's move on to 5.
Number 5.
Jaden Daniels, and I think it's fair. Christian. He's young. Great first year. NFC Championship game. 1 of 1 in that sense in the last couple of years to go on a deep playoff run as a rookie like that. Do I think they redo it this year? Absolutely not. I blame the Lions more than anything. I blame the Lions for, if I'm going to say that the Chiefs got pantsed in the Super Bowl, the Lions got bamboozled in that divisional round on the NFC side by a rookie quarterback and a pretty good coach in Quinn. So I'll put 5 Jaden Daniels, the young rookie. Christian.
So are these your 2nd through 6th best quarterbacks in the NFL? Because we all, obviously Mahomes not a part of this list.
They are.
So you would have Jaden Daniels the 6th best quarterback in the NFL?
As of right now, yes. Recency bias, yes. And I understand guys like Herbert, C.J. Stroud. I'm basing this off of success last year. Could Jaden Daniels fall victim to the sophomore slump that we see in the NFL? Sure. But off of last year and a rookie going to the NFC Championship game, I had to put him on this list, Christian.
No Baker Mayfield?
No Bake. You know I love me some Bake. No Brock Purdy. No Herbert. God, how bad was Herbert in that playoff game? I still can't get over that. I went to bat for that kid, too. I said they'd win that game. Oh.
All right, next up, we'll switch sports. Rank these NBA players. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Anthony Edwards.
Once again, folks, we were playing Rank 'em, where we rank players, teams, food, movies, actors, all that great stuff. 1 through 5, 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. Out of those 5 NBA players you just listed, my number 1.
Number 1.
It's the Joker. How can it be, right? Arguably should have won the MVP this year. NBA champion, multi-MVP award winner. He's number 1. I think it's very easy. This is where it gets dicey.
Number 2.
I'm going with Giannis. I am. I know it's probably not a good look right now with SGA in the playoffs doing his thing. I know they're down 2-1, but I expect the Thunder to win coming up this weekend, which, I have no interest in. But regardless, Giannis is 2, and I expect him to be on the move from the Bucks. Number 3.
Number 3.
This is where the SGA comes in. Great player. God, amazing player. I know that it's kind of boring to watch, but God, talk about someone who knows his game, knows how to get a bucket. I think he's got to work a little bit on the defensive end. I think his team bails him out a bit on the defensive end. We saw him have a bad defensive game in the most recent finals game. But give me SGA at number 3. Let's move on to 4.
Number 4.
Crazy that I have Luka here, right? Crazy I have Luka at 4. I got a bad taste in my mouth with how that season ended with him and the Lakers, Christian. I got a bad taste in my mouth.
You don't think he has good enough conditioning?
No, I'm not going. Listen, I'm not going that route. All right. I just the lack of defense I think we saw in the NBA Finals last year was alarming, and not getting out of the first round. After all that talk, I thought they could be a favorite to get to the NBA Finals. They were completely outclassed by my guy at number 5.
Number 5.
I think this. Out of all these players on this list, I think he's the no doubt number 5 in Anthony Edwards. I do. That's my quote unquote hot take.
Is that Anthony Edwards is worse than Giannis, Luka, Joker, and SGA?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I think he's 5. I think on any list he is number 5 out of if you make, no matter how you shake it, you could have SGA 1, you could have Luka 1, whatever, Giannis 1. I'll hear out all of it. But I won't hear out Anthony Edwards not being number 5 when compared to those guys so far, because those guys have done more in their career and have showed up in bigger spots in their career than Anthony Edwards. Everyone wants to anoint Anthony Edwards the next face of the league. The kid doesn't want it. And I got news for you. He hasn't played like it either. Is he the best young American player? Probably. And that's another thing to unload on this. All 4 of those guys I mentioned above him aren't American. Where's the red, white, and blue, Christian?
Yeah, you called the hockey game a match about 20 minutes ago. So
what's wrong with that? It's a hockey match.
No, it's not.
Moving on, Christian.
Rank these historical organizations in terms of impact on their sport. The New York Yankees, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the New England Patriots, and the Boston Celtics. Got 2 basketball,
right,
and 1 of other sports. Yeah.
Each sport is now,
and 2 football and 1 baseball.
There's a reasoning to the madness. I was going to add the Montreal Canadiens. Christian, I couldn't tell you 1 championship the Canadiens won. Honest to God, I'm very embarrassed by that. I searched best hockey team, like the Celtics of the NHL, and the Canadiens were the answer. They have, first off, a Canadian team had won a Stanley Cup in over 30 years, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I know hockey. So I put the Celtics and the Lakers on the list. It was originally just going to be the Celtics, but I threw the Lakers on the list. All right, number 1 is easy. Christian, you're going to do a little prayer. How can it be the Yankees? The New York Yankees, I'm ready to say this. The New York Yankees are the most recognizable sports brand in the world. And yes, over the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, just you go back to any era, the Yankees have dominated. Like, I think, and I can't stand your New York Yankees, Christian, but I think like the one and most recognizable American sports team is the Yankees. And it means a little something, I think, more to play for the Pinstripes than any American sport team. Than any team that plays sports in America. I think playing for the New York Yankees carries a more weight and significance than any team in the United States. They are number one.
Number one.
I mean, you go back to the Yankee Clipper, Joe DiMaggio. You go back to Babe Ruth. You go back to Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams. I mean, even when they stunk. Yeah, even when the Yankees stunk, they had great players. Don Mattingly. So, like, the Yankees are number one, not even close. You'll have someone wearing a Yankee hat internationally, and they don't even know what the hell it is. They just know it's cool. Let's move on to number two.
Number two.
You don't have to say two. The big voice says two. Moving on to number two, and then hitting the button, number two. Number two.
Number two.
Number three.
Number three.
You can just say, let's move on.
Number two.
Christian, I think it's got to be the Boston Celtics. It's got to be the Boston Celtics. With how dominant Bill Russell was, Larry Bird, all those great teams, great coaches, you go right down the line. The Celtics are the most successful NBA franchise. They're numbered. Now, recently they have had success as well with Tatum and Brown. You go back to the Big Three as well. They're really covered in every time period other than the 1990s. The Boston Celtics are an easy number two.
Number three.
This is a tough one, because it's one of the football teams. I'm going to go with the Steelers, Christian, because I just got done telling you about time periods. The Steelers were great in the 70s here, good in the 80s. They were bad for a while, but then you had the Bill Cowher, you had the Mike Tomlin. They are well represented throughout the years. The reason they're ahead of the Patriots is that the Patriots really just did it with Brady. Is Brady the greatest player to play in the league? Probably. Is there something to that the greatest player, the greatest coach were on the New England Patriots? And I do think Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. Apologies to all my Don Shula supporters down here in South Florida. But it's tough, and I'm splitting hairs, but I'm going to go with the Patriots.
Number four.
The Steelers. And now with
number four.
It's the Patriots for everything that I just said. Greatest player of all time, greatest coach of all time, 6 championships. And I understand this has nothing to do with the Patriots, but Brady even won one without the Patriots. That just shows how great the New England Patriots are. And then 5.
Number 5.
The Lakers. They're the second best team in their sport. Now, talking about recognizable brands, you can make an argument for the Lakers. Agreed? Like the Yankees.
No, I wouldn't
you don't
say
think so? Okay. I think as far as clout and cool, the Lakers are definitely up there. And stature, the Lakers are up there.
Yeah, I guess Kobe made it a worldwide thing because he's so big in China.
Even back to James Worthy and Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I mean, it was cool to be a Laker fan in the 80s. And my old partner, Jimmy Matson in Peoria, he was a Laker fan because that's who you were watching. You know what I mean? When the NBA, and forgive me, my older listeners out there, I believe it was on NBC or in one of the big dogs of the 3 channels you got in the 80s, the Lakers were always on. So, Showtime. I think there's something to be said about that. But for me, they're definitely number 5 on this list. Now, Christian, we have actors and food as well. Let's move on to the actor side with
number 1.
Rattle them off for me, partner.
Okay, no, we're not doing number 1. I'm going to tell you the actors.
And then
you're going to tell me
number 1.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman, Leonardo DiCaprio, Denzel Washington, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro.
It's a tough list, man. This is especially this is my personal opinion too for these. All this is personal opinion.
Number 1.
Al Pacino. And it's solely because of one character, and that is Michael Corleone in The Godfather.
Number 2.
Leonardo DiCaprio. I think Leonardo DiCaprio the fact that he won, what was it, the Academy Award for that ridiculous Frozen movie that he was in, where he was hunting bears and a trapper.
What was ridiculous about the movie?
It wasn't.
It won him the award. It must have been pretty darn good.
But it wasn't his best performance. I think he was a lot better in other performances, a la the Titanic. But I don't know. Leo, one of the best out there.
Number 3.
Robert De Niro.
Number 4.
Denzel Washington.
Number 5.
Morgan Freeman. Denzel is top tier. It's
Denzel Washington's got a lot of bad movies.
But he has a lot of good, and I think Remember the Titans is that's my favorite role. I think that's my favorite Denzel Washington role. And Morgan Freeman, I think his voice is
number 1.
But as far as an actor,
number 5.
Out of all those names that I gave us, that's probably where I would rank Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not a big film buff. I used to watch a lot more.
This is a Russo question, and we are missing the, who does he call Tom? Or no, not Tom Hanks. Forget his name.
Tom Cruise.
Thank you. And he calls him the CEO of movies?
No, he calls him the president of movies.
There we go. So I'm 0 for...
Number 2.
0 for 2 on that, but I wouldn't put him on that list with those guys, personally.
Rank these food items. We're going to do in a broad scope. So you got to think of the worst of these and the best of these, and then find a median there. Find a happy middle to give a general rating. Pizza, a sub or hoagie. Burger, burrito, pasta.
All right.
Number 1.
Pizza. Easy. Everyone loves it. Always a good item to get when you're with people, and it helps that it is absolutely delicious when you find that perfect spot.
Number 2.
I'm going to go with pasta. Oh, God. Going home and eating it's now my mom's sauce. It was my great-grandmother's sauce that, my mom makes now. Oh, right off the boat, that recipe question. Pasta is number 2.
Number 3.
This is where it gets dicey. I'm going sub sandwich.
Number 4.
Burritos.
Number 5.
Burger. I'm a sucker for Chipotle. That's why it's ahead of a burger. Sub sandwiches, there's just so much variety. That's why they're 3. You get a Philly. You get a breakfast sub sandwich. I'm not a fan of the meatball.
A breakfast sub sandwich?
It's,
Not really. Like, when you think of a sub sandwich, it's on the submarine-shaped roll.
You've never been to the Fat Sal's in Los Angeles. I ate one of the best breakfast sub sandwich concoctions. Very good.
You want that on a Kaiser roll or a bagel or even a biscuit? A sub sandwich, you don't get in that size.
What I'm saying, the point is, you could do a lot with a sub sandwich. Agreed? Be a lot of variety on a sub sandwich.
I guess so, but it lacks identity because of that. Like, if we're going to blur the lines of what a sub sandwich is,
all right,
you're including a lot of bad as well as the good.
When I think of a sub sandwich...
Pasta should not be number 2, by the way. There's some really bad pasta out there. If someone's making pasta for dinner, you don't know that you'll at least be able to eat.
Yeah. I guess I have been spoiled with unbelievable pasta my whole life. That's kind of why, it's why I have it so high, because I know exactly the pasta I want.
Pizza's a good number 1 because, like they say, even bad pizza, it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
And great pizza will knock your socks off, and you can have it in a bunch of different varieties. I've yet to have authentic Chicago-style pizza. I had it in Vegas once, and it was a big mistake. That was my first opportunity to have it. Never went to
Really?
Chicago Uno.
Really?
Yeah. I had horrible food decisions when I went to Vegas most recently for Big 12 Media Day.
Jeez.
Burger is fair to be at the bottom, towards the bottom of that list.
It's just, it's a one-trick pony, I know what I like on my burger, and I get it every time. The other ones, there's a lot more variety. You have a lot more variety with pizza, sub sandwiches, burritos, and pasta.
Hard to make a bad burrito, though.
Oh,
I would go burrito, too.
So good.
But you had it second to last. You had it below pasta, below subs, below pizza.
I appreciate a sub. It's not that I appreciate a sub sandwich more. It's just like a Philly cheese and Italian sub, man. You get a good one. Look out.
I like a separation. I like a separation because I can make a cold cut sandwich myself. And I want to be far removed from that. I don't want to buy something that I think, well, if I bought these ingredients, it would be really easy to throw these one together. Where it comes to a burger, well, you've got different Angus beef. You've got these truffle oil, maybe some blue cheese crumble. It's a little more complex. I don't have that in the pantry. Pizza. I don't have a pizza oven at home. Burritos? Well, maybe I can make it myself, but I don't have that big tortilla press that actually makes the tortilla amenable and can fit a bunch of stuff in it.
For you, the list has a lot to do with if you could make it or not. If you can make it better than a place.
What's more of a commodity? I feel blessed to eat this pizza right now because I don't have a pizza oven.
Yeah, I can't cook pizza. To that point, I can't cook pizza. The easiest thing probably to do is a sub sandwich. But, man, Christian, you find a good spot. Look out. One more segment of Theoretically Speaking coming your way. Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo. That is Christian Cat behind the glass. We are live on ESPN 106.3 and coming right back.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Trans World Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
It's Theo Dorsey, and I'm feeling hot, hot, hot. Temperatures are up, but your water shouldn't be full of mystery floaties. Culligan's got your back with water testing and reverse osmosis systems to keep things clean, cool, and crisp this summer. And get this, you can try it for just $10 a month. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and stop drinking who knows what. Visit Culligan.com today to schedule your free water test.
Hey, Culligan man!
Hi, I'm Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. As you have likely seen and heard, law firm advertising is at an all-time high. Attorney ads seem to be part of every radio and TV commercial segment. Some firms are even using paid actors and actresses to speak for them. At Smith Ball Baez and Prather, we know that the decision to hire a law firm should never be based on advertisements alone. It is our past results and many positive 5-star reviews that we encourage you to read at smithball.com to learn more about our law firm. We have board-certified lawyers. We have lawyers listed in the best lawyers in America and in super lawyers. But most importantly, we have experienced lawyers located right here in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast that are ready to be your advocate and your voice, and fully prepared to start fighting for your legal rights today. Our purpose, legal power. Our mission, huge results. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
As a law enforcement officer, safe roads are one of my top priorities, ensuring everyone can get home safely each day. Some never will, due to aggressive driving, being distracted, or speeding on the roads. And too often, that results in the toughest part of my job and the longest walk in my life. I'm so sorry. I have some very sad news to share with you.
9 people will be killed on our Florida roadways today. Don't let it be you or a person you love. Buckle up every trip, every time. Let's get everyone home safely. A message from Florida Department of Transportation, Target Zero. For more information, visit targetzerofl.com.
Get ready, South Florida. It's the 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl. Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at FAU's Flagler Credit Union Stadium. Two of the best group of 5 teams go head-to-head in the ultimate holiday showdown. Over 150 players have gone from this field to the NFL. Who's next? Visit BocaRatonBowl.com for the latest, including when tickets will go on sale. The 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl, Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at Flagler Credit Union Stadium.
Hey, it's Tina. Okay, let's be real. When you need tires or a battery, you want someone you can actually trust, right? That's why I go to St. Lucie Battery and Tire. They've been keeping South Florida moving for over 50 years, and they're still family-owned. They've got all the big tire brands, plus batteries for pretty much everything. Their best price out the door guarantee means you know you're getting the best deal. So next time your car needs something, don't stress. Just go to St. Lucie Battery and Tire, slbt.com. Trust me, they've got you covered.
The playoffs are heating up, but your home shouldn't. Stay cool with EDS Air Conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can take advantage of 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong in sports, not in your home. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, EDS is the name you can trust since 2006. Visit EDSIsYes.com today. Game day comfort starts now. Don't sweat the small stuff.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
Duffy's Sports Grill is raising a glass to the class of 2025. Every graduation deserves a party, and Duffy's is the place to celebrate. Reserve your spot now and let Duffy's handle it all. With private party spaces, party platters, and custom menus for groups of 12 or more. Plus, now through June 15th, get a $10 MVP bonus for every $50 in gift cards you grab. Level up your graduation at Duffy's. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to book your party today. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is Theoretically Speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Mike Rizzo filling in for Theo. This is Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3. Christian Cat is behind the glass as well. We have to do a get around. But before we go to city, Christian, I heard there, you know what, man? Every time I think of that U.S. Open down in Oakmont there, I think of you in front of your television this weekend, locked in. Can you give me a leaderboard update, brother?
I would be happy to, because it's getting interesting. The course is showing its teeth. Right now, we only have 7 players who are under par. No one's at even. Everyone else is at 1 over or worse, believe it or not. But we do have a tie atop the leaderboard at Oakmont Country Club. J.J. Spahn, he has finished his front 9. He's at even on the day, and he's at 4 under on the tournament. Tying him at 1 under on the day, 4 under on the tournament is South African Tristan Lawrence, who is through 11 holes so far today. Solo third, the American Sam Burns, who's 1 stroke off the lead. Then you have Victor Hovland and Ben Griffin, Thomas Dietrich in a 3-way tie for 4th at 1 under par, 2 strokes off the lead. This has been your leaderboard update here on ESPN 106.3, and it was so graciously brought to you by Pain Care Florida. Thing about Pain Care Florida is you got to stop hurting and start moving today. You're on the golf course. Listen, I know a thing or two about golf course injuries. Pain Care Florida is the place to be. Their specialists use state-of-the-art procedures to relieve pain and get you moving fast. Stop hurting, start living today with Pain Care Florida. This leaderboard update's also brought to you by the Breakers Palm Beach, Kaiser University, and PGA Golf Club.
Time for the get around.
What you mean you don't know? Check it go. I get around.
Next stop,
Our first stop at the Get Around, where we go city to city talking about topic to topic, is the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California, where you might have heard of this famous Los Angeles Laker before. He goes by the name of Magic Johnson it is, and Magic went on Get Up and had this to say about Luka Doncic, of course, famous Los Angeles Laker acquired at the deadline.
It's great what you did in Dallas, but the difference is in Los Angeles, we expect championships, and we expect our superstars to lead us to a championship. LeBron has already did that. Now we want Luka to do the same thing.
If Luka does not win a championship in the purple and gold, was it even a success?
Absolutely not. He has to win. That's why you brought him there. You brought him there to be the answer after LeBron James. I don't think LeBron has a lot left either. I think LeBron has almost 2 feet out the door. He's almost fully out the door at this point. I think the goodbye party, the farewell party is coming up for LeBron sooner than later. And Christian, with how the NBA, and listen, we could agree to disagree on this. This is my personal opinion. How the NBA rigged the lottery for the Dallas Mavericks and Cooper Flagg. I think we're going to be looking back and going, did Dallas win the trade? Absolutely, Luka has to win, Christian. Not even a question.
Next stop.
Let's go to Sunrise, Florida, where, well, the Oilers beat the Panthers in an instant classic. Game number 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. Rizzo was there for a little bit of the game. Also there was famous power couple, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift.
Musical and sporting royalty arriving here at Amerant Bank Arena just a short while ago. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Swift actually with the song called Florida about escaping your problems when in the Sunshine State. We know what Kelce has done as a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, they showed him on the broadcast quite a bit. Rizzo, did you catch a glimpse of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift when you were there?
They were like under us. Brian so Brian Rowitz, our content director and boss, he tried explaining to me like 3 different times where they were, but I believe they were under us where we were at on the press level. So I was not able to actually visibly see them from where we were sitting. But my God, they're on the Jumbotron, the TV broadcast. You know how the press box is. They got the TV broadcasts and stuff up. They were all over the place. Rumor has it that they took a helicopter out, too.
Well, you know, where we parked
back to Boca
for Game 3, there were a bunch of helicopters coming in and out, in and out. It wasn't for last night's game that I was there, but it was the game prior.
Yeah.
And certainly, man, that would have been pretty cool, because right where the media enters, too.
Yep.
Could have gotten an autograph from Taylor Swift.
And I think the NHL had a video of them just like walking in. In like an hour, it had 500,000 views already. Like,
do you think they stayed for the entire game?
They definitely. Well, they helicoptered home.
Play to them. So they have the luxury to be able to stay for the entire game because their transit home's easier.
They helicoptered home, Christian. Of course they stayed.
Let's go to our next destination.
Next stop.
Indianapolis, Indiana. Tyrese Halliburton had this to say after he kind of proved a lot of the doubters wrong in the Game 3 Pacers win over the Oklahoma City Thunder.
The commentary is always going to be what it is. You know, most of the time, the talking heads on the major platforms, I couldn't care less, honestly. Like, what do they really know about basketball?
Tyrese, not a fan of the mainstream sports media. Stephen A. Smith took exception to that because Stephen A. Smith was very vocal about the fact that Tyrese Halliburton is not a superstar no matter what he does this postseason. What do you think about Tyrese Halliburton and the legacy he's building and the reputation he's building with this playoff run, Riz?
Listen, he's clutch. I got to give him that. You got to give him his flowers there. Is he going to average 30 points a game and 12 assists and 6 boards? Absolutely not. But he's got a niche. He's got a niche for showing up in big-time moments. I just don't care. Like, I just do not care about the Indiana Pacers, and I think this is a one-hit wonder, and I'm waiting for this tune to stop being played on the radio. It's the best way I could put it.
Next stop.
Let's stay in Indianapolis. Let's stay in Indiana because the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, Shane Steichen, had nothing but praise for new quarterback Daniel Jones. Of course, we thought this was Anthony Richardson's franchise from here on forward. Last year changed things. But Steichen had to say that he's very pleased with what we got now. Smart football player, doing a hell of a job, learning the offense quickly, making good decisions through OTAs. He wants to carry that into training camp. What's your % chance that Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback of the Colts come week 1 against all odds?
Probably like 80%. It sounds like Richardson isn't going to be ready. And it sounds like the Colts might be ready to move on from Anthony Richardson Sr. I just, if he can't stay healthy, that's one thing. But another thing is, like, is he good on the field? Is he going to take himself out of a game, which happened last year? He took himself out of a game. It looked promising with Richardson right when he came into the league. He was a fun player to watch. He was throwing great. He was running great. But after the first 4 games, and he got hurt. After those great first 4 games, Christian, you haven't seen much from Anthony Richardson. So, yeah, Daniel Jones probably going to be the starting quarterback for the Colts, and they're going to stink. I mean, let's call it come on. Jonathan Taylor's a great running back. Got a good offensive line. This was already a team, I think, that was flirting with on the edge of being a good team and a bad team. I do not have high expectations for the Indianapolis Colts next year. And I would, if you do, sell me. 88 the Baptist Health Hotline, 888-760-3776 was an 8-win team last year. I definitely would be hammering their under.
And that was your get around.
Christian, it's to the point, I think, where I am starving for football that I'm watching highlights at home.
Really?
I'm watching highlights at home of big-time games in the NFL that happened last season. I watched the college football playoff game, a rerun of the game we were at, Penn State and Notre Dame. Obviously, I kind of wanted to see the broadcast side of it because we were there on site. But you got me. God, I'm excited. I'm excited for the upcoming football season for a number of reasons.
Mr. Goodell, Mr. and Mrs. People that run NFL Network, why don't you keep NFL Red Zone like running even when it's in the offseason? If you just pick a random NFL Sunday and you don't tell us the date or the year or the week or anything, and you can turn on NFL Red Zone at 1 o'clock every single Sunday, it's like it's the first time you're watching it. Maybe you'll pick up on cues here and there, and you have a little nostalgia. Oh, wait, that's right, he played there? I forgot about that. Oh, that's T. Higgins' 4-touchdown game. I got to stay here and watch. Wouldn't that get so many viewers?
2 things. They don't need our viewership. You know what I mean? Like, they don't need to prove to people that they could get views because the product speaks for itself. But
it's going from 0 to like NFL Red Zone. Nothing's playing on the channel right now.
I understand. But Christian Cat, you got to pay for that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're not.
You buy it on your cable package.
But I think, doesn't it end? You pay for it like while it's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'd have to make it a year thing and pay around that. I don't know. I think money, the 2 things. They don't need our views, and I think money has something to do with it. They want you to watch their shows. They want you to watch the talking heads on NFL Network talking instead of the Red Zone. You know what I'm saying?
No, this is better than anything they have on TV. And more people would watch reruns of NFL Red Zone than June training camp talk unless a big trade happened that day.
But they want you to watch the talking heads. They want you to watch that.
If they sell advertisement on the reruns, they get eyeballs on those football addicts. I'm sure it would make a lot of people happy.
Dude, I'd watch.
Because if you're
asking me, I'd watch.
You just said you're watching old games. Like NFL Network runs reruns of full game broadcasts. So supplement that with Red Zone instead.
You want to know, speaking of that, a couple of Saturdays ago on the NFL Network, it was the first round. It was the game the Ravens played before the Bills, the Steelers. It was Steelers versus the Ravens in that first round. God, Pittsburgh was bad.
Oh, I forgot that was a playoff game.
Yeah,
exactly. Me and Theo were talking about this during a pre-show meeting. And I couldn't remember who the Steelers got bounced by last year.
Ravens.
And it was a team that I root for. Yeah. That's how insignificant that game was. That's how little doubt as a Ravens fan I had in that game. Like, I was multitasking while watching a Ravens playoff win or go home. Watching Lamar Jackson, the most electrifying quarterback in the sport. And I still had no emotional, true attachment to that game because it was no contest.
But
you think they're going to win the division this year?
I never.
I'm exaggerating.
You're putting words in my mouth.
You
partner.
think they're going to win 10 games this year?
I do. They won 10 games last year. And listen, we say, Christian, the reason I brought it up is like, I say the game was bad and how bad the Steelers were. Only 2 scores. They only lost by 14. You know what? Like, no one scored a point in the fourth quarter. I was waiting for something because I told myself, I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch this. I'm not going to go back and look at the box score and remember the score. Because to your point, Christian, it was it was like on the grand scale of like impactful games in the playoffs, this was probably the lowest one. I'm like, I'm not going to go back and look at the score. Nothing happened in the fourth quarter. It was 0-0 in the fourth quarter. No one scored. The game ended 28-14.
If I recall correctly, these two teams played either in the last week of the regular season or the second to last week of the regular season. And it was like a prelude. It was like, well, that game obviously doesn't matter. The Ravens have this one locked up when we talk about the division. It was a continuation of that meaningless game, but it was a playoff game.
It was to your point, Christian, week 16. It was the Saturday before Christmas on December 21st. And they walloped the Steelers 34-17.
So let's not air those previous playoff games. Let's instead air a full NFL Sunday. 7 hours of commercial-filled football. Sell some ads on it.
They want you to watch, I don't know any shows on names of shows on the NFL Network. They want you to watch those
Good Morning
shows.
Football's on the weekdays. You can leave that there. That's totally fine. On the weekends, instead of playing reruns of complete games, do Red Zone instead.
Folks, you hear that music? That means it's time for us to go. This has been Theoretically Speaking. Mike Rizzo filling in for the great Theo Dorsey. Christian Cat behind the glass, co-hosting and producing. We appreciate Christian as always. We got Russo and Rizzo coming up next. Same cast. We did not find a cool name to call, Rizzo and Sea-Cat Fest, so I'm just going to call it more Rizzo and Sea-Cat Fest. Russo and Rizzo coming up next.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries